a better look at where this new clinic is opening. It's in Sandersville at the Word of Life Church on South Harris Street. That's a little more than an hour southwest of Augusta, right smack in the middle of Macon and us.
So this comes at the right time as more people qualify in the peach state. Starting today, more than 3 million more Georgians can now sign up for the vaccine, including everyone 55 and older and people with serious medical conditions.
The list's so much longer now. Once it's open, the new clinic in Washington County expects to administer more than 40,000 vaccine doses every single week. Our Sydney Heiberger is there to give us a look around.
Well, this brand new mass vaccination site here at the Word of Life Church in Sandersville, Georgia, is the very first GEMA-run mass vaccination site in the entire CSRA. And I'm told the hope here is by holding this in Washington County, it'll be able to provide more access to underserved communities. The site is completely drive-through, so people will never need to get out of their cars. They'll register on the My Vaccine Georgia website and get checked in by members of the National Guard. Then they'll go to a registration tent where site workers will take their information. They'll drive up to a second tent where nurses will administer shots. Then to a parking lot where they'll wait at least 15 minutes after their vaccines. David Shanks with GEMA is in charge of this whole site and says they're ready to serve up to 500 Georgians a day.
I know a lot of our healthcare facilities, hospitals, they're overwhelmed. They have been overwhelmed. They've been working hard, and we're just here we're hoping to ease that burden.
And while this site, of course, is located in Washington County, I'm told any eligible Georgian can register to get vaccinated here. Tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, why that could be very important for people in the Augusta area. Reporting in Sandersville, Sydney Heiberger on your side.
Wednesday, you can go ahead and register for your appointment now. We have more information on how you can do that online, wrdw.com, and on the WRDW app.
Here's a look at one of the other 4 mass vaccination sites opening this week. This one's in Savannah. Organizers say the goal is to get people in and out within 6 minutes. The other 3 sites opening Wednesday are in Emerson, Columbus, and down south in Waycross, Georgia.
In South Carolina, Aiken County is continuing its efforts to vaccinate its educators. You're looking at video from Friday's clinic where hundreds of teachers got their first dose. Another clinic is happening tomorrow. It's at Silver Bluff High School from 9 to 4. Employees with Aiken County Public Schools can sign up on the district's website.
Quick look outside now. Developing this afternoon. Assessment County deputies believe that James Briggs killed himself this morning, 12 hours after he killed Tammy Briggs and her daughter April Williams. Tammy and April were shot inside their home on Cops Drive, which is off Gordon Highway in the Richmond County part of Grovetown. Investigators put a description out of James Briggs and his truck around 7 this morning, and then around 8:45 they were called to Craig Sims Parkway, about 3 miles away from that shooting. That's where Briggs apparently shot himself. Meanwhile, Tammy and April's family have a lot of questions today as you see the truck being hauled away. We're going to hear from those family members coming up on News 12 first at 5.
New today, 3 former Orangeburg County deputies have all been sentenced to prison for their roles in a Mexican cartel sting. Those ex-deputies are Carolyn Franklin, Alan Hunter, and Nathaniel Sazier III. Officials say an undercover investigation back in 2019 revealed the trio was protecting trucks containing what they believed to be drugs from a Mexican drug cartel. Franklin and Hunter were both sentenced to more than 5 years in prison, while Shazier was sentenced to close to 4 years. Each will be followed by 3 years of supervised release.
First at 5, new details in a deadly officer-involved shooting in South Georgia. We now know that suspect killed was a 51-year-old man from the Statesboro area. The GBI says 51-year-old Kelly Bowen was shot and killed by law enforcement after first firing shots at officers. All this was yesterday when police responded to a home invasion and kidnapping at gunpoint. Investigators say Bowen drove away from the scene with a hostage, leading deputies on a chase across several counties. You're looking there at I-16 because at one point on that interstate, officials say Bowen fired shots at officers, grazing a state trooper in the head. That's when multiple agencies returned fire. He was taken to a hospital where he died later on. We're told the trooper hit by the bullet will be okay.
Just a few miles west from there, officials are continuing their investigation into this deadly accident. This was the scene yesterday in the westbound lane of I-16 in Bullock County. Georgia State Patrol says 3 people were killed. Their car catching on fire after being rear-ended by a tractor trailer. We're still waiting for officials to confirm the victims' identities.
Augusta leaders taking the next step in passing a non-discrimination ordinance for Richmond County.
The ordinance would keep local businesses and other organizations from treating people differently based on things like race, gender, religion, disabilities, and more.
News 12's Kennedy Harris gives us a closer look at how the city plans to enforce that.
Luckily, I've never experienced that kind of discrimination. But
James Mintz is the president of Augusta Pride. He's worked with leaders on extending protections for the LGBTQ community and others.
But I know people have reached out to Augusta Pride and said, what can I do? I've been fired here, or something happened at my job, or when I tried to go here.
While there's a hate crime law in Georgia that only protects against crimes motivated by bias, there are no discrimination protections in the workplace at the state level. Federal law only applies to agencies with more than 15 employees.
You can be fired for being a Christian, or for being black, or for being Irish under state law.
But Augusta is on the road to change that. City leaders have drafted a non-discrimination ordinance which would penalize local businesses for treating individuals unfairly.
The ordinance will fill a gap that exists in state law and federal law.
Currently, 11 Georgia cities have similar ordinances. In it, individuals must file a complaint with the Augusta Compliance Office to be investigated. After that, those involved have the chance to complete mediation. If that does not resolve the issue, the case could be taken to court.
And all parties that are involved, if there is an allegation of discrimination, benefit from a thorough process.
Mint says everyone deserves to live in an accepting community, and this ordinance is a move towards that goal.
It'll help people that are struggling and don't always have the resources to pursue justice.
Kennedy Harris, on your side.
Commissioners have not yet voted on the draft. If a business is found guilty of discrimination, the penalty starts with a $500 fine, then $1,000 for each subsequent violation. The final penalty is having the business license revoked.
Big changes ahead for Masters Week this year. There will be no par 3 contest. The Augusta National Golf Club just calling it off today because of the pandemic. The contest dates back more than a half a century. It's popular, typically held on Wednesday of tournament week and televised around the world with family members usually stepping in as caddies. Augusta National says they hope to bring the par 3 contest back next year.
Oh, we miss it. Yes, 2 years without it. That's sad. In more than a year, many South Carolina state employees made a return to their offices today after, they all went virtual because of COVID. Governor Henry McMaster just signing an executive order to get state employees back to work full time. He says with the vaccine and lower hospitalizations, he believes it's safe to bring back people from working at home. In response, some say it's too soon. Others say, though, they feel like it's pretty fair.
A little hypocritical to try to force teachers back into a situation with a lot of people where we cannot social distance, but you haven't opened offices that you very much could have been kept safe.
Governor McMaster just signed that executive order Friday. It also lifted the mandatory rule for wearing face masks in government buildings. In Georgia, the state's lieutenant governor is rolling out.
And we are tracking 2 frontal systems making their way towards the CSRA. That'll keep our pattern unsettled over the next few days. We'll talk about that after the break.
Plus, the parades are called off, but the celebration's still on. We'll check out how people on Tybee Island are going green for St. Patrick's Day.
Tired of what you see at all those other stores?
Come see Weinberger's Furniture's new accessories. Check out the selection that changes daily.
See our huge rug department. Buy a beautiful rug, and if it doesn't work, just bring it back.
Can't decide what you need? We have stress-free in-home design. Our experts help you create customized spaces you'll love, right in your own home.
Can you really get all this at prices better than the internet?
Yes, you can.
Chevy's.
How was your weekend? weekend? Well, a lot of people spend the weekend in Savannah, the city having a scaled-back St. Patrick's Day weekend. You can see a lot of people still took to the streets to celebrate. Our sister station there ran into a lot of out-of-towners, including a decent crowd coming from here in Augusta. Others from surrounding states came into Savannah. Police were out there enforcing COVID protocols and offering masks, while the crowds mostly agreed they were just happy to be there.
To come down here for St. Patrick's Day, you know, this my first time coming. You know, I'm having a great time.
Well, we're just gonna see everything. Anything and everything we can. We love Savannah, and we're gonna stay.
Just extend that hotel visit, right? City leaders were initially worried about the crowds, but Savannah's mayor says the city handled the holiday weekend pretty well, and most businesses and visitors seem to be following COVID guidelines. You know, St. Patty's Day doesn't roll around until Wednesday, so the celebrations are really going to go on all week long.
Right, and Tybee Island homes and businesses are all decked out this week for the city's first annual Paint Tybee Ireland Green contest. Yeah, Mariah Conjigo takes us there to give us a look around.
When we win it this year, we want to maintain our crown for next year.
That's a fact.
Giant shamrocks, rainbows, and leprechauns are seen all over the island as more than 40 residents and business owners compete in the first Paint Tybee Ireland Green contest.
Tybee always loves to have a party. Let's just create a party. Let's be the parade.
With no parade again this year, the Tybee Post Theater staff knew they wanted to create an event to bring the spirit of St. Patrick's Day alive. Also, while showing the community what their support through the pandemic means to them.
The theater is still here. We're alive, we're working, we're thinking, and we want to do things for the island.
The houses and businesses are split up into two competing divisions. On Sunday afternoon, 4 judges toured the 3-mile stretch of the island, checking out creativity and artistry.
This is a big family event for us, so we wouldn't miss this.
The O'Leary family says they've had tons of fun putting their masterpiece together and are eager to come out as a winner.
We already had all this stuff. The banner up on the house that says the O'Leary clan, we actually had a float in the parade one year.
One family says this holiday is their favorite. They even had a St. Patrick's Day themed wedding, and of course, that's how their theme came to be.
We have a little flower girl and a ring bearer. We have the mother and father of the groom.
We've had a lot of fun doing it.
First, second, and third place winners in the housing division will be awarded cash prizes donated by Meyer, a longtime supporter of the theater. The business that wins will get a trophy and bragging rights.
We've loved being in the spirit and are just happy that so many people have participated.
I just feel like most of them went directly from Mardi Gras, New Orleans, to Tybee Island.
I think that's what happened.
The same crowd.
It is.
I'm convinced. They've got the spirit. They're ready for it.
Yeah, they just dyed everything green.
Yeah. Just having a good time.
Yeah. So people getting creative during COVID. It's always great to see people thinking outside the box.
Sure.
Not able to have what they usually do, but still having something.
Making the most of it. Without the Mardi Gras parades, people did decorate homes there too. So that seems to be the party theme this year. Let's head outdoors for a look at the Bobby Jones Expressway. Speaking of
all right. Thanks for that, Mikhail. Still ahead, it is time for spring break. And for some, that means going mask-free. We'll take you to Texas, where parties are getting started. Next.
Stolen guns turned crime guns. The I-Team uncovers Augusta is a hot spot for recovering illegal weapons.
We have firearms that are trafficked out of the state of Georgia.
And an infamous stretch of roadway isn't helping. Tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
On CBS.
Just last week, Texas governor ended the state's mask mandate and rolled back all the COVID restrictions on businesses.
Right, and now this week along the coast, thousands are gathering for spring break, despite concerns and warnings from doctors that the virus doesn't take a break. One of the biggest parties is along the beach on South Padre Island, and that's where Jay Gray is for us with a closer look.
They've tossed out COVID restrictions in Texas, which for some means no mask and no distancing during spring break on South Padre Island.
The state is open up for business, so that means we're open for business. We're trying to give the kids something to, enjoy their spring break so they come back to the island.
And they are coming back, many aware, but not all that worried, it seems, about the virus.
I'm kind of immune to COVID. I haven't gotten it since COVID has started. I've been out and about. So here, some people are wearing masks, some are not. But if you're trying to have a good time, just come no matter what.
Not every spot on the beach is packed. Families are a bit more spread out and enjoying what for the first time in a year feels like a normal getaway.
the beach is coming back to life, the town's coming back to life. We're having some fun out here. Restrictions aren't so crazy. You know, everybody just kind of relax.
But doctors and local officials warn now's not the time to relax, with concerns about what they fear could be a dangerous spring break hangover.
I hope that this doesn't come back to create an influx of cases and super spreader virus incidents during spring break.
A spring break that here is wide open, even though the sun hasn't set on the pandemic. Jay Gray, NBC News, South Padre Island.
We do have breaking news to pass along just coming into our newsroom. We have an update on this story we first brought you at the top of the show. We're learning now the identities of those 3 people killed in this fiery crash. Happened yesterday afternoon on I-16. This is Bullitt County, not far from Statesboro. We now know those victims are Dr. Anthony Stuckey, his wife Elisa Stuckey, and their 3-year-old son Anthony Stuckey Jr., a family wiped out in this fiery crash. Dr. Stuckey, in fact, was principal of Dublin High School, so he is a well-known member of that community. Extremely sad update to pass along, and we're working to get more details for you up on our website, wrdw.com, and we will continue tracking this story. We're back after a short break.